Many a crime has been solved by matching fingerprints. Fingerprints are really a residue of the oil that occurs naturally on our hands. But what is good for detective work can be disaster for metals. While the metal objects in your collection are certainly sturdier than textiles or glass, they are highly vulnerable to their environment. Moisture rusts iron. Exposure to pollutants in the air accelerates tarnish. Fingerprints cause corrosion. Polishing will remove tarnish from many metals, but at the same time, it gradually wears down the metal. This silver-plated candlestick has been over-polished to the point where the silver is worn and the copper base is showing through. So when to polish is a difficult question that each institution has to answer for itself. One option is lacquering, a process that must be done by a conservator. Never consider polishing a routine activity, but follow the guidelines for your house. To protect metals from the oils in your hands, always wear clean white cotton gloves. Remove loose dirt or dust by brushing lightly with a soft brush or camel's hair paintbrush. Avoid dusting cloths, which can't get into small crevices and can drag grit and cause scratches. Before beginning, make sure the object doesn't have an original coating, which should never be polished. For original coatings, wrong cleaning may be worse than no cleaning at all. These ormolu coatings were damaged when the wrong cleaning method was used. Original coatings can be difficult to detect, and you may have to consult with a metal conservator to be sure an object is safe to polish. Start by cleaning the object as you would in routine cleaning, brushing lightly with a soft brush or camel's hair brush. To remove old polish residue, make a very dilute solution of a few drops of detergent in distilled or deionized water. Clean with cotton moistened with the solution. Wait a few moments to allow dirt to loosen. You may free embedded material by agitating very carefully with a soft brush. Rinse thoroughly with clean distilled water. If iron has been used to strengthen the rim, do not use water in this area. To remove stubborn residue, waxy or oily accretions, moisten cotton with mineral spirits and wipe the surface. Always work in a well-ventilated area when working with mineral spirits. For wax trapped in a candle cup, allow some mineral spirits to stand in the cup for a while, then remove the softened material with cotton swabs. Be careful not to scratch the surface with old polish and grime. Change swabs often to minimize the risk. Complete the process by rinsing with cotton dipped in clean distilled water. Regardless of how stable the object is, commercial polishes like these should never be used. Many contain corrosive chemicals or harsh abrasives that can permanently damage surfaces. Some contain tarnish inhibitors, which have been found to cause long-term damage to metals. The safest and most effective polish is one you'll make yourself. Mix a thin slurry, the consistency of cream, from precipitated calcium carbonate, available at conservation supply stores, and ethanol or denatured alcohol. Do not substitute ground chalk, as it can scratch instead of polish. Apply a small amount of polish with a wad of loose cotton, rubbing gently in a circular motion. Change the cotton often so you aren't grinding the tarnish you've removed back into the surface. You can use a cotton swab to get into recesses, although it may not be desirable to completely remove tarnish. It takes very little calcium carbonate to polish effectively. Be sure not to use too much. When you are done polishing, remove residues by washing the surface with loose cotton dipped in the dilute detergent solution, then rinse with cotton dipped in clean distilled water. Don't let liquids get into hollow handles or other places that are difficult to clear. Never immerse an object in a water bath. Dry the object thoroughly, first with a clean dry cotton, then with a loose cotton moistened with alcohol. As the alcohol evaporates, it hastens drying. Bronze comes with so many different kinds of coatings that it is difficult to determine the best way to clean them. The patina may include a buildup of wax and varnish, so never use solvent or water. Bronze should be cleaned once or twice a year at most. Dust lightly with a hog's hair brush. Use a wooden cuticle stick with dry cotton wrapped around it to remove dust from crevices. Never wet clean bronze, as it may cause corrosion and damage the patina. Tin and pewter were popular for many years because they were easily worked and a lot less expensive than silver. Clean them in the usual manner with a soft brush, keeping in mind that these metals are soft and easily scratched. Pewter surfaces will also oxidize, acquiring a look that says, "Polish me." Don't. Light oxidation is protective and should be left in place. You can remove waxy or oily accretions by moistening loose cotton with mineral spirits and wiping the surface. Change the cotton often to avoid scratching the surface with accumulated grime. Clean and dry by wiping with cotton moistened with ethanol or denatured alcohol. You are up against very subtle enemies. Sometimes objects in your collections even fight with one another. Here, the pewter reacts to organic acids found in wood, particularly oak. With good circulation, pewter can be displayed on a mylar barrier on an oak surface, but don't store it in an oak drawer or cabinet. Now we're talking about an enemy we recognize, rust. Leave iron or steel exposed to moisture long enough and it will literally rust to pieces. Rusting is a natural process, and a thin, even coat of rust, as in this case, is not necessarily harmful. This loose, non-adhering rust is the result of active corrosion. The artifact is in danger and should be separated from other objects. Try to store it in dry conditions, relative humidity below 35%, and contact a conservator about care and treatment. Before cleaning any of these objects, examine them carefully to see if there is any gilding or engraving. Markings may be obscured by rust, and removing the rust may seriously damage the decoration. As with other metals, wear gloves when handling iron and steel, and begin by brushing lightly. Remember that iron rusts, so never use water or detergents to clean iron objects. To remove waxy or oily accretions, moisten loose cotton with mineral spirits and wipe the surface. Be careful not to scratch the surface with old grime, and change swabs frequently. Under certain conditions, wax can be applied to slow down tarnishing and rusting. Apply a small amount of paste wax to a soft cloth and rub the entire surface. Be sure to get complete coverage. Wait a moment, then buff with a soft brush or nylon stocking. This process can also be used for cleaned silver and copper alloy objects. Machinery, tool blades, guns, and other objects with moving parts should never be waxed. To clean, wipe with a cloth moistened with mineral spirits.
Some important points to remember about caring for metal objects in your collection. Be conservative and polish only when necessary. Wear gloves when handling metals. Oil on your hands can cause corrosion. Ethyl alcohol and mineral spirits give off hazardous fumes and should only be used in a well-ventilated space. When cleaning rusted iron, be careful not to damage hidden decoration. Never use water on iron or steel.